Okay, so welcome to our first 72-hour video. We're going to do a really fun podcast with me and one of my besties, Ben Mason.
Hi.
He has a fun kind of backstory, and we're going to learn a little bit more about that in the podcast. But before recording the podcast, we wanted to do a video and actually unpack our 72-hour kits. Both of us did ours like between 6 months and a year ago.
Right.
We honestly don't even really remember some of the stuff we're going to pull out of them.
Mine aren't even complete.
So the fun thing about 72-hour kits is no one's 72-hour kit is the same or should be the same.
Yeah.
Right? But my experience was when I started working on mine and I was compiling things from websites and from other friends and emergency resources and all the things, everyone has a different opinion about what should go in a 72-hour kit.
Right.
But everybody wants a list. They want, send me what you put in yours. Give me all the things you put in it. Well, the truth is my 72-hour kits are customized to my children.
Yeah, and I was so intimidated just by trying to, like you said, coming up with a list or whatever. I didn't even know where to start. And luckily, you had already put so much time into it that mine will look a lot similar to yours.
Which is great because then it's like, this was a really good thing. I loved that. Yeah. But then when you get going and you start going to Walmart or going to Amazon and starting to like accumulate things, it's so fun. Yeah. And then kind of like revelation and inspiration comes about what you should put in yours. Yeah. Things that you didn't even think about.
Yeah.
So really, my philosophy about a 72-hour kit is that it should be easily accessible, like right by your back door where you see it, your garage or storage room or whatever. And that's another video. I'm going to show you where we store ours. But where you see it on the regular. Because in my opinion, if you throw everything in a 72-hour kit and stuff it up in a closet, which was what we did for years, you're not mindful of what's in there. So you're going to get expired food, clothes that don't fit your kids, flashlights are out of batteries. So really you want it to be the salty prepper lifestyle where it's incorporated into a part of your life.
No, I think that's great because one of the things I've got to like change is that I'm checking on this stuff regularly.
Yeah.
Whether, like you said, clothes, food, or just something that turns nasty over time. I don't know.
Well, and what's so great too is when they are present, like where you see them, if you get like, you get some giveaways for hand sanitizer, little bottles of hand sanitizer. It's like, oh, great. I'll stick that in the side of my 72-hour kit. Or flashlights that you're using for camping. You know, my kids wanted flashlights for something. I don't remember what it was. I'm like, I don't even know. But I have the bigger ones that are sitting right out, but the little tiny ones in their 72-hour kit had batteries ready to go. It was like, oh, grab it out of your front pocket. Yeah. Easy. Chapstick. Like, I can't remember. We got a really good deal on chapstick. I was like, ooh, excellent. Shove those in the 72-hour kits because they're just right there present. All right. So should we unpack?
Sure.
Okay. So first off, I want to say, like, it does not matter what bag your 72-hour kit is in. For years, I think mine was in my college backpack. Like, literally my ratty, possibly high school backpack. I'm not even sure. And that's fine. And if you're not sure where to start, grab a backpack. For your kids, their backpack that they use, their Minecraft backpack that they didn't want from last year, start putting their stuff in that for this year. When I redid them this year, wanted to start completely fresh, just as a fun project. To have cool backpacks, cool things that looked good because all mine are out where you can see them. So that's why you'll see we kind of have the same ones.
Yours are so fresh and so cool. I decided
they weren't the Jansport. They weren't the Jansport backpack that I carried in college, which is what mine was before. I'm pretty sure, like, at one point, I think of ravioli had leaked in it.
Yeah.
I was like, this.
No, but yeah, I got the same ones because you had them, and they are very reasonable. And very reasonable. Pretty solid.
Yeah, and all this stuff, we're gonna give you links. Hopefully, you can still find most of it on the Amazon, but if not, we'll send comparable links. But this is really just to get you thinking, just to give you ideas of what's in the backpacks. Okay, enough talk. So you talked about, so tell us a little bit about Taba and why you only have one big adult backpack.
So my wife
she was my best friend and I love her.
She is a delicate little flower, like a beautiful little flower.
She's so beautiful.
She struggles with she has some I'll just say, I don't know how the best way, she struggles with some health issues basically.
She has fibromyalgia, among other things.
Among other things.
With pain and fatigue.
So I made we decided to make her pack the same as the kids,
Yeah.
just because she's not going to be up. I think if she had to, she could hump my pack around.
Yeah.
She would do it, but
hump
again,
your pack around? Is that like a call it? It's
Might be.
hump my pack around.
New song. She so she could do it, but I'm not planning for that we're gonna hike 80 miles with
Right.
these things.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, we'll make it work with a smaller pack, something that she's comfortable with, and something that she can.
And we're going to talk a little bit more about the podcast on how we really got rolling and why we have the perspective we do about some of this stuff. But for now, let's unpack things. Okay, so on the outside of our packs, let's see. So this is really our adult packs. This is my pack, and this is my husband's. And these backpacks, what I like about them is they're really compartmentalized. So you can organize things well. And there's lots of pockets, and they're good and solid, really good reviews, and not expensive, like Ben said. So Joey's, honestly, the husband's is heavier than mine. And
He's a big strong man.
but he can hack it. It's totally fine. Because we put some stuff that we don't want the kids having to haul around in theirs. But every backpack has a water bottle. Did you end up getting the same water bottles?
I did. I really liked them.
They're so cool. So they are super lightweight. But
However, I'm gonna keep my eyeballs on them to see how they manage over time.
Totally.
It feels like something that could maybe dry out.
Yeah.
But who knows?
So, I mean, they're basically refillable, and we're going to talk about water and carrying it and storing it and all of that. But if you have access to refill, this is a water bottle that can be hung very lightweight on the outside and easy to store, easy to drink out of. And then I also got like a cook set. So it's a little, with your extended 72-hour kit where you have like your camp stove or whatever, like this is a good, see, we haven't even had to use it.
In case you didn't know how to use it.
So it's got like the cups in it and the thermos, which is fantastic. And that can click on the outside and doesn't take up extra space inside your pack. Okay.
I keep just on the top of mine that it doesn't stay in my pack, but I have a little pouch that I keep a little bit of cash, and
love that.
if I have any IDs or anything I want in it that I can wear around my neck, like under my shirt or whatever. And I don't have enough money in here to do anything special, but it's just to make sure there's a little bit of cash on me, because I hardly carry cash anywhere anymore.
Well, and we're going to talk about that later on, about emergency reserves of cash that should be in your safe, or like a certain amount that's accessible. But I love that, where it's like it's already with your 72-hour kit,
Right.
and it's grab and go. Okay, so also on the outside of Joey's, this was a pretty cool thing that had really good reviews, and I read about it on several websites, and then found one on Amazon, which is a shovel. And we don't both have to have this one, because honestly, okay. So it's basically like it's one I need the husband to, so it has like a serrated edge, it pops down, has your extended, we'll play with it later. My husband's like, give me that shovel. Okay, so, but also it has here we go. The handle, cool little tool. Again, this is on the man's bag, so I basically read all the things that said you need this tool. So if you're digging for fires, potty breaks, any sort of thing like that, it's also just a really cool weapon. But the cool thing about that is the way that it's made, it can go on a belt. So if they take it off, they need to leave the backpack, they can put it on the belt for a little bit of hiking, but also it attaches on the outside of the backpack, so you're not having to take up space. Okay. We'll let Joey continue to use that. Okay, you unpack too. We're unpacking at the same time. We're just like, what's going to come out of here? Why Ben's pulling his out, also I found these really cool little oil holders if you're like a essential oily person, which so many people are. This one has Sleepy Ice, which is an oil at the time when I built these that my youngest son, who has just some trauma and sometimes has a hard time calming down, I thought in an instance where we have left home and he is under stress, it can't hurt. It can't hurt. Yeah, just something that reminds him of home. And how cute is that? So any sort of oils or bottles, you can just hook that on the outside. Okay.
On my top little thing, I had some room. I have a flashlight and a couple tissue packs, and I have this little knot reference guide, which I don't, who knows if you ever need knots, but if you did, at least you
always need knots. Well, look, we have all of our our lovely rope.
I mean, knots
on
are
our shovel.
knots are a very perishable skill. I mean, I've learned them many times, and then an hour later I couldn't do it to save my life.
I think in girls' camp maybe in the 90s I learned knots. I love that.
But this is kind of stupid stuff. I mean, this is something I got somewhere and I didn't know what to do with, and I was like, you know what? It weighs nothing.
And that is what is so great about having your 72-hour kits accessible where you see it, because you come across something like this where normally you're like, where would this go?
Yeah.
And then that inspiration comes, 72-hour kits. Okay. So in my front pocket, I have some chapsticks, Aquaphors, hand sanitizer. This is like in my front easy, like this is obviously like I have more of the medical stuff in mine. Moleskin, if you're walking a lot, blisters, some tape wrapped around a stick. This is very like basic Band-Aids. We have a whole section that we're going to do on medical first aid, but just to have a little bit of something in your 72-hour kit, helpful.
I have a little, so I'm like half deaf, so I have hearing aids, so I have hearing aid batteries. You can see for some reason I really like putting everything in Ziploc bags. So
Ziploc bags are really good. These are waterproof.
They are. I figure worst case, I'll have a lot of extra Ziploc bags to use for other stuff.
Well, it's interesting though, because I had a son who served a mission in Brazil, and they said when you send a package, send it in Ziploc bags because they love having the bags. And so many things that I've read talks about in emergency situations, whether it's evacuees for fires, hurricanes, or whatever, a huge thing is the Ziploc and trash bags. Yeah, to keep things dry and Tic Tacs.
I've got some lighters. I keep them in their original packaging because they can, you run the risk of them getting their triggers pushed in your bag. And
that's smart. Leave it in the cardboard.
But I've got some matches too, just in case they do leak out.
In this one, I have several options for fire starting, but I had thrown this in at one point, I can't even remember when, that has like little fire starting pellets, a thing of waterproof matches, and this is dryer lint inside of a paper, like a toilet paper roll, that literally like it is the quick, easy fire starter.
So I ran down a YouTube rabbit hole once, a little project.
YouTube rabbit holes.
I was melting my own wax, and you can coat dryer lint and cotton pads, like makeup pads or whatever.
I'm telling you, this really becomes
and you know what? It was fun.
Times.
I mean, I'm on the I don't know, seen Kramer making sausage in Seinfeld, but I'm like on the stove, like double boiling wax and dipping cotton balls and dryer lint and stuff, and then in the backyard lighting them on fire, and they burn like great. I mean, it was fun.
Yeah, it's good times. So again,
I have a candle too,
which is so great because you're like, this is an excellent thing to have in there. Okay, so knives. All of my boys have a pocket knife of some sort.
Yeah.
I love that tool.
Yeah.
Is that a Leatherman?
Yeah, it's Gerber, but it's the same type of thing. But just pliers are invaluable anywhere.
Every man should have a pair of pliers.
Every man should have pliers.
And woman. Glow sticks, you'll see these a lot on lists just for in the dark, so you can click it from a backpack and know where your kids are. These expire, like you have to keep an eye on these.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Once a year, pull them out, let the kids play with them, and then, okay, so this is my water bag, which is right in the front. So you're seeing like my stuff that's really like, what's the stuff I'm gonna need to grab? Band-Aids, my little first aid, and then also like water kit, knife. Just when you're packing, kind of be cognizant of what you think is the most important. These are refillable, like squeeze water bottles, and filtration, like just water filtration kits. I have all sorts of stuff in this bag. This is like a water filter, so if you're right out of a river or a lake, but also I have tablets. We're gonna do a whole section on water. They have the filter straws, which my kids have the straws that are filters. The one thing I read about that is they are actually kind of hard. Like like you have to really suck hard out of them. So in mine, I thought best to have the ability to filter a bunch of water that then we can put in their water bottles, but then also give them the straws. So that's kind of the fun thing that's going to be fun for you to decide. What do I want? What's the age of my kids? What's my capabilities? What kind of water filtration do I want? Another knife. Pocket knives are kind of those things that you just have all the time, where you're like, ooh, what's that? They are,
and I'm a little bit of I'm not a hoarder, but I have I'm like a magpie that likes shiny things and hides them under a rock. And I've always had like a shoebox, and it's been like little knives I've collected or whatever. And so it's been fun to be like, okay, I can put those.
This is useful.
You know, like this and the knot thing. This would be something I'd be like, ooh, you know, put it in my little shoebox.
Isn't that so true about your junk drawer? Like, there's probably such good things. Like, this is another like junk drawer item. Like, I feel like you probably have one of these somewhere, a travel sewing kit. But you think if you lose a button, your zipper breaks. You only have one pair of clothes that you're packing in here, and then what you have on. So if you have to bail pretty quick for whatever reason, it's nice to have a little pair of scissors, some safety pins. But I venture to say a lot of people just have that sitting around and it can easily be thrown in the bag. So this right here in the front is my weather, like sleeping protection, bunch of hand warmers in there. And you can get these on sale after winter for pretty cheap actually at most like big box stores. A poncho. And then this is like I've got an emergency blanket. We got these one time for free. Like it's a State Farm emergency blanket. We got an emergency preparedness fair. Yeah, so that's the other thing. You'll get stuff like that that'll pop up when you go to fairs, like, you know, place. This is an emergency sleeping bag.
And I don't have anything in my middle pocket because that's where my food's gonna go, which I haven't gathered yet.
We're gonna pull out mine. And then this is an emergency tent. So in my big bin for my extended 72-hour kits, where I have my camp stove, our family tent, but this is, you literally have walking out with the backpack that you can grab and run, and it's essentially like where you're gonna make a little lean-to or whatever underneath a tent. I mean a tree. Okay. All right. Keep going while I pack all this back up.
All right. So I have a cheap little blanket.
Love it.
I think that was one of your finds, actually, but like a Walmart.
I'm pretty sure we got those for like $2.50 or something.
Yeah, they were dirt cheap, but you know, this is not going to survive. You know, get you through Antarctica, but it sure might be just comforting to have something to take the chill off.
And I love that. So let's talk about that. So we have the State Farm emergency blanket, right? And we have like the emergency tent. So this is really like we're thinking disaster situation. If you're in the car, if you have to bail and you're in the car. Even just if you're leaving your house and you're in the car for 24 hours before you can come back home. If you're on a fire evac, a hurricane evac, do you really like want your kid in the back of your car with a tinfoil emergency blanket?
Right.
You know what's so great is like for $2.50 or like whatever. Yeah. I mean, and everybody has these. I'm telling you, everyone has these around their house. Some sort of like little lap blanket. How like for me that was a priority to have something where we have a decent blanket.
And with that deluxe sewing kit you had, you could turn this into something super.
You make some amazing family tent, like Old Testament style.
I think Joseph was thrown down the pit with one of those. So yeah.
I'm gonna put that right there. All right, keep going.
I've got a. This is one of the life straws, and then I have some tablets also that I've just got handy, and then you know, I do have some of the water bottles you were talking about, and then I just have some antibacterial wipes. And a mask. I'm hoping this never comes back.
I know.
You just never know, though, even with like dust or if it's like.
Yep. Well, that's what I have mine right here in this very front pocket. Like I have like my mask because like if you're fire, any sort of like ash, mold, any sort of anything, like you just don't know, and it's not ridiculous to have a lightweight mask shoved right there in the front pocket.
So I've got my mini medical kit here. Which really I have the most important medical item, super glue, which I
don't think I have super glue in mine.
I fix everything.
That's why this is so great to see what other people have, right?
Yeah, and then I have like your basics, like Vaseline, lotion, first aid what is that? Antibiotic ointment.
Oh yeah, Neosporin.
You know, I've got tweezers and toenail clippers. I've got just assortment of a bit of Band-Aids, ibuprofen. Really, this is where you put in what you want. Yes. I also have a, what do you call these?
I don't know, what is it?
Scalpel.
Oh, a scalpel.
I bought a pack of scalpels. Again, I'm not proud of it.
Look, his wife, Tabitha, would be willing to cut you. Like, legit.
She's done amazing things. I mean, our kids have spent a lot of time in hospital, and she has done stuff that normally you have to call the nurse to come switch out, like G-tubes or feeding tubes or stuff, and she's done it, and it's been horrifying, and she has nailed it like a pro.
I know. She's very into the human body and the study of that. She's brilliant, and 100% if we're in an emergency, I'm taking her with us as our unofficial medic.
So this isn't, this is Band-Aids, alcohol wipes. I have some rolls of, it's not tape, but
bandage, like
bandage, stuff like that. I mean, we're not going to save anyone's life with this. This is just going to deal with
Yeah, but it's like just so lightweight and the ability to include it. Why would you not? So in my other like front pocket, I have a whistle. I won't blow it because that's obnoxious. But a compass.
Can I tell a story?
Yeah.
Tabitha's dad, the great wit, he, you know, they lived in Washington, D.C. forever. That's where me and Tabitha grew up. And Tabitha and I were at school at BYU. We flew back for the summer to see them for a couple weeks. And he had a keychain that he always wore around his neck and had a whistle on it. And we were in the airport at the baggage claim, and it was packed. And I was like, what are you doing with that whistle? And he goes, I don't know, it's fun. And he blew it. And it's like the whole place, like people hitting the deck, like cops looking around, like everything stopped. I think it was before 9/11, which is good. But anyway, so when I think of a whistle, it's real powerful.
We have another story about an airport security that sometime we will also have to tell.
Yeah. Yeah, that'll be in the comfort items section of the podcast, I think.
We have so many things coming your way. Okay, so I have one of these cute little, I just had it like as a jewelry, it was a jewelry like bead holder. I had a bunch of them. And so I put some Claritin, some Advil, just very basic, like tiny, actually that's just like allergy meds. And then this is my little mini bottle of Advil. A few allergy meds, a lot of Advil. And that's good for like swelling, headaches, all the things. Having a headache, if you had to evacuate, and clearly there's a good chance you're gonna have a headache.
It's miserable and something that's usually easily fixed for most people with a couple of pills.
And I think sometimes you're thinking like, oh, major like horrible catastrophes. No, this is very easy, like things that could happen even if you're talking 24 hours. Yeah. Who wants a headache?
I think a couple years ago, luckily we weren't affected by the hurricane, but we went down to Houston to help a few people that were messed up with when Harvey came through there, and they had, we were down there helping, but overnight they had us, stay at a high school in a high school gym.
Oh yeah.
And we were fine. We went down there on purpose, but other people who had to get out of their houses for your days. I mean, that's one of the things here is maybe you're just in a high school gym for a few days. You're not like out in the elements, but you're just nice to have.
And you have your own blanket. And also, like, say even if the American Red Cross is there or there's like emergency services there, who wants to go have to track down Advil? Who wants to go in the medical tents? Like if you have it all with you, there's just so much peace of mind in knowing I can take care of my family. Okay, also I have flashlight, and this one takes regular batteries, but also rechargeable batteries. I ended up just going with the regular because I wanted to be able to stick them in there and know that they were good to go.
You're such a good repacker on the go. Like I'm just like.
No, I legitimately as you were going was like, I'm gonna have to go back and repack this because I have no idea how it's all going back in. Okay, and then this is good times. In my front pocket, I for the first time bought a taser.
Turn it on. It's so scary.
So my son found it, was like, oh cool, and he used it on himself a little bit. So I think it's on. The thing is, I don't even know. I still have the instructions in it. My husband's let me see.
Is that something you need to charge every month, or
so
batteries?
It came already charged. It does have it does have a charger. Yeah, so you do have to recharge it. Oh, also the pepper spray. It came with free pepper spray. So my husband's saying give it to me, so I'm gonna give it to him for a second. Yeah, so here's the charger. It might need to be charged.
I have a nice poncho here, and then I have nice gloves.
Ooh, gloves. That's smart.
And I am a bit of a glove snob. I just really like gloves.
Yeah.
But I just made sure everybody has a nice pair of work gloves.
So can we pause for a moment on this?
Try your neck. Puff.
Are you even in the frame?
Can we do puff while we're here?
I feel edit. My dogs are freaking out.
Yeah, sorry, I'm kind of backing up.
Okay, so stop. Okay, so the reason I when I was reading about what you should include, obviously if we are bailing out really quick and we're worried, my husband's probably gonna pack, the pistol. And I, as much as I hope to be comfortable using a gun at some point should I need it, I'm not. Even right now, in the present moment, especially if I am nervous or scared, I think even with proper training, I would just be much more comfortable with this. And this even freaks me out, if I'm being completely honest. But I felt like I wanted something if I got separated from my husband, if I was on my own, legit, even if I was staying in the stories that they told about what was the hurricane in New Orleans? Katrina. When they talk about all those people when they were in the Superdome, or whatever. My husband's like, stop swinging that around. It's not on. Is it on? Oh my gosh, it is on. Okay, back it up. I would, if I was sleeping alone without, my husband there, or even if he was,
Especially if he was.
I feel like that is something I'm comfortable having in my pack. And so that's what is a great thing about make your own decisions. Like if you have was your knife one of those flip ones that came up real fast?
It wasn't a switchblade, but it was just.
The thought of stabbing someone to me is like horrific.
Oh yeah.
And so I would rather shock them with a taser. Plus my kids thought it was good times. Okay, onward and upward. This is such a long video, but it's so fun. Okay, we're giving the people what they want. So, this was the #1 requested thing for Salty Prepper. People wanted to talk about 72-hour kits.
I have a iPhone charger.
Ooh, smart. Will you go get, I never put mine in our backpack. Will you go get my solar, it's a solar, well, I'll just tell you. Also, I got a little solar iPhone charger so it can charge in the sun, but I just got it and haven't put it in the 72-hour packs yet.
I have.
Oh, yeah.
I have.
For all the knots.
Yeah, drop cloth.
Ooh, smart.
I don't know what it's for, but I figure it's useful for something.
Yeah. Well, you could use it for a poncho. You could use it for anything.
Even in, like if you're being sheltered in a high school gym on a cot, this is at least some privacy you can put up or something.
Okay, so right here I have, and I really packed this, instead of putting a bunch of like hygiene kits in every one of my kids' backpacks, this is for 72 hours. So I really put one in my husband's for the boys and one in mine for the girls. That's toothpaste, body wash, lotion, toothbrushes. In the kids' I put those little like disposable toothbrush things, comb, just very basics that is enough. Some, cleansing wipes. That's enough for the whole family for 72 hours. It doesn't need to be ridiculous heavy amounts.
This is so random that apparently I have put a washcloth in a Ziploc bag and put it in here, so I'm not even sure.
You prayed about it and felt like
it seemed like a good idea at the time.
This is for your wife. She's like, we need cleanliness. You're going to be with me, and I'm going to have the body wash, and you have the washcloth.
I also have wipes. Look, pooping is... miserable as
Also
it is, especially in unfamiliar places. You got toilet paper, but whatever can make it easier.
Honestly, as we're talking about this, I really should put like some magnesium or like laxatives because there is nothing worse than being stressed and backed up. We're just keeping it real. So we're going to talk about that a little bit in food and why I chose not to put MREs for the food because of what they will do to you. So these are just good things to be thinking about.
I have a radio here. It's an emergency one.
Yep.
You can generate your own power, has a flashlight or whatever. It just may be your only communication for a while. Or best case scenario, maybe you can at least get some music or something if you're just stuck somewhere.
So I have all of my kids' backpacks. We put individual just entertainment items. So this is a little journal with a pen. Everybody has a journal with a pen because can you imagine, like, would you not want to be writing these things down? If you're in a position where you're using your 72-hour pack, write it down. What's going on? Also, a game of Rook. I think I put Uno and Joey's. I can't remember. We'll pull it out.
Even just therapeutic.
Yes.
If you're stressed,
to
be able to write.
And then scriptures because I'm going to need my Jesus. If I'm eating out of my 72-hour kit, I'm going to need
This
him.
is a little Walking Dead, but I have maps of the United States, Dallas, and
I love
Texas.
that,
so
I actually have maps in mine too.
Okay,
my big
good.
one.
So if your phone's not working or Google Maps, at least you can generally get.
Because look, if we're in the position where we're using our 72-hour kits, chances are we're going to need a map.
Right.
And then I have a compass in mind because honestly, I really just hope that my husband survives because I don't even know how to do that.
Here's my little kit, same thing, I think.
And so then here's my blanket that I put in there. And then also, so let's talk about clothes really quick. If ever you were a scouter, what I kept my kids' scout clothes because if you have ever done scouting, you know that these scout pants are not cheap. They're ridiculously expensive, but they are also rugged, lightweight at the same time. And so I chose to roll those up and use them in our 72-hour kits. My boys, a lot of them have the zipper pants, so they actually function as shorts and pants. What? What about them?
I think those have the zipper.
Oh, are these zipper off? Let's see. Oh yeah, these are. So essentially these are shorts and pants. The nice thing about that is I don't have to switch out my clothing seasonally, which normally you need to be keeping an eye on that. Every 6 months, what's in my kit. if you have used a pant that's like even if it's not a scout pant, if you can find a cargo pant that unzips, 80s unzippable legs. And then wool socks, because that will keep you cool in the summer and warm in the winter. And then just a lightweight shirt.
So that's great. I do not have food and I do not have clothing in mind. So that's something I need to...
Yes, and honestly, I feel like that was the hardest thing for me, the clothes. And something I prayed over, because I feel like it was something that so often you're updating it constantly. So I put a pretty big shirt in there for all of the kids. But I felt so good when I finally had clothes in all my kids' bags. And something that's going to work no matter what. Yeah. That was my solution, made me happy.
This is it's a camp knife. I know it looks like a big scary knife, but it's kind of my version of your spade or your shovel.
Yes.
Is that it looks horrible, but it's really thick. It's you can chop with it like an axe, or you can dig.
Ooh.
Or you can pry.
That's
you can whatever stuff like that. So I'm
sure there's somebody that is like a super knife safety guru that's going to comment on that video and say,
probably the way I'm waving it around. You could put that in the comments. And
I'm sure we'll get all kinds of stuff about our
on that.
about our tasers.
But
look, we're not experts. This is Salty Prepper Lifestyle.
No, we are not experts.
We do not claim to be experts. We're just, everybody is helping everybody.
If you want an expert, go to every other YouTube channel.
Yes. There's some Army website out there that's going to tell you all kinds of stuff. I know, because I read them. Okay, so inside my pack, I have my 72 hours worth of food. And we're going to talk about that a little bit, and we're going to talk about that even more on the podcast. And I'll show you a little bit more of that. But then also in the bag of that, I have waters that are in these little emergency drinking water packets. I went back and forth about different kinds of water. I have the ability to filter water. I have the ability to sanitize water, but these are just easy. If you were in your car, and I'm thinking, if you're getting in your car and you're trying to drive away from a hurricane, drive away from a fire, drive away from who knows what's going on, you want the ability to be able to stay in your cars for as long as possible. And to some extent, that means water on your person, that you're not having to get out. And these are easy because they lay flat. So they're nice against your back as opposed to water bottles. And this is legitimately enough for 72 hours. Your minimum amount of water to keep you alive for 72 hours will fit in that amount. And we're going to put more information about this on the website and links. Okay, and then I should have Joey go through. So I'm going to pass his pack off to my husband. Will you go through there and see if there's anything? I know there is some things in there that are not in mine. Why I talk about food. So we're going to do a whole breakdown of this, possibly another video since this one's getting really long, and talk about food. But this is basically a day 1, day 2, and day 3. And on the food packs, I have put exactly what is in it so that it's easy to rotate it out. So I'll give you an example. Did I ever end up giving you these lists?
I'm pretty sure
I think I did.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh yeah, so Joey has emergency radio in his. So this kind of just gives you an idea of, you don't have to have everything in one backpack. He's going to be carrying some stuff that I'm not going to be carrying in mine, and it's okay to kind of divide it up. We gave him the shovel and the radio. So day 1, okay, so let me give you really when we started working on these 72-hour kits, not long after that, the big Texas freeze happened. We're going to talk about that in a little on the podcast. And I realized, honestly, my kids, we stay here at the house to watch Pipes and Pets. And my kids went to people's houses that had power. And had my 72-hour kits been up and running, I could have very easily given them their backpack and said, I know there's a blanket in there, I know there's a change of clothes, and I know that there's food and snacks. Not that they couldn't get food and snacks with their friends, but I can easily send them with food that I know they're going to eat, and I don't need to stress about that. And then I'm going to get to rotate it out and update all my food. Because, we have a good friend who served in the military, and he said, what people don't understand is what MREs do to you. They are meant to be emergency food source when you are out as a soldier. With your gun, hiding and, snipering. Snipering, I don't even know if that's a word. But how they affect your digestive system is not the priority. So if you are thinking about a 72-hour kit for your 6-year-old or your 13-year-old daughter, to me, it's worth the effort to put things in there that I know are going to be comfortable for them, that they're going to eat.
Especially you're talking 3 days here.
3 days. Like, so I made sure like I did the research on calorie count. So if you have boiling water, there is 2,126 calories in this day 3. If you don't have boiling water, because there's a pack of ramen, I think there's a pack of ramen in this one. Oh, oatmeal. Oatmeal and hot chocolate. So if you were not able to boil water, then it has 1,886 calories.
You just gut them down dry.
Yeah,
is what
like,
you do.
Well, you could, literally. But this is like above the average what you need. But like in this one, instant oatmeal, trail mix, go-go squeeze applesauce, apple cider, Nutella dipping sticks, granola bars, Cheez-Its, fruit leather, cup of soup, beef jerky, peanut butter. I think I have peanut butter in all of them because my family loves peanut butter and it makes us happy. There are snack packs, peanut butter crackers, fruit snacks, Lifesavers, Jolly Ranchers, cookies, and flavored fruit punch pack. That is stuff that my kids, I could literally send with them anywhere and they would be ecstatic to eat it. If we are in our car driving, I do not want to give them an MRE. When the 6-year-old is crying that he has had to leave Netflix and whatever else, let me at least be able to give him some chocolate cookies, Nutri-Grain bars, chicken salad with crackers. You can buy those pre-assembled chicken and crackers, dehydrated fruit, Slim Jims. Like this one has 1,846 calories without boiled water, 2,006 calories with. Fruit snacks, little hard candies, lots of granola bars, pistachios, crackers, and ramen in this one. For me, it's going to be more work to stay on top of these and rotate them, but how fun when we pull them out and I tell my kids, it's time to update the 72-hour packs. Everything in here, they will be so excited to eat. All right. Excuse me. Okay.
Kind of my last thing, I have a little personal bag here with, I just have a little notebook in it. I have toiletries, toothpaste, chapstick, and some soap, little hotel soap that I threw in there.
I like this, how your personal bag, is that a pencil pouch?
Yeah.
That's brilliant. But like you put all your personal stuff in one thing inside.
Right.
Mine was broke up a little bit more on the outside.
So
we packed it.
my Tabitha and every kid has a pencil pouch
like this. No, save those pencil pouches. It's brilliant. These are the things to get you thinking about it.
You know, I have another little, I have a can opener. Is what I gave everybody.
Ooh,
just like
smart.
these old school camp, just in case,
Yes.
you know, maybe that's all you've got to eat and you're
Yeah,
like, all right.
if you come across some like cans of beans at the grocery store that haven't been rated yet.
These things are miserable to use if you've ever done one.
But if you were trying to get in a
used to do
can
that
of
in the Boy
beans.
Scouts.
So these are the little kind of mini, I think they're Colgate disposable toothbrushes. This is my daughter's kind of extra. She has some hair ties in there. Ladies, do not forget hair ties. And then these little disposable toothbrushes where they literally can brush and toss so that you're not having to keep track of the toothbrush.
I have a really sad spork here if you ever need it.
I would like to have some.
And some pens, pen and pencil.
There's towels. Let me see what else. Like, I'm trying to go through my kids' ones here and see. All of my boys, I know they have pocket knives. I'm trying to see some of the different stuff I packed in my kids' bags versus mine. Oh, like these backpacks, that's all their food and their blanket. These are a little more lightweight backpack. They don't have as many pockets. But honestly, I felt like these, even though they had less pockets, seemed to fit more. Did you find that to be true too?
I agree. Maybe not as organized, but
yeah, but they definitely hold as much. Oh yeah, so live straw, and then hand warmers and emergency tents, flashlight. Just kind of trying to give you an idea of what I thought was every kid should have in their bag. Their food, their blanket, and then their water is in here. And then they each have some entertainment of some sort in there too. So not nearly as stocked as mine. And I put they all have a mask in there. And then I put their thing for boiling water and mixing soups. That's really like if you can do the ramen, if you can do the cup of soup, if you can have a place to boil water, or microwave water, if you're just in a gymnasium somewhere, that you have a way to drink it. All right, anything else? Let me look at this like boy one. All of my boys wanted tasers in theirs, by the way. I was like, no, you don't get a taser. You have jeans in this one. Like all my kids have a pair of clothes with their different outfits. Okay, so obviously even like going through, there's really good things in yours. I don't have in mine. I'm getting some super glue, like ASAP. Brilliant. And hopefully like this has just given you some ideas that there is no perfect 72-hour kit.
Right. And you kind of got to decide, or maybe not decide. I don't think you need to pack for the end of the world necessarily, or something that's going to get you through a month. You just remember this is 3 days. Maybe you're just going to be somewhere that's not your home, or you can't get to the store or whatever.
If you have to evacuate, even if you have a house fire, right? Like there's just something like in that interim or an emergency, just anything that can happen to parents that everybody in your family knows. There is a backpack, and it has a change of clothes. It has food that I know the kids will eat.
Right.
I have a daughter-in-law who's gluten-free. Like all of her food is gluten-free. You know, she was like, in 3 days it'd be okay if I didn't have gluten-free. Right. Who wants to have a horrible stomach ache and feel awful in an emergency?
Right. When you're not at home, maybe you're not.
Pack the stuff that helps you feel good. So then as an extension, I want you to show real quick, just kind of like to get you excited about more videos coming. Grab your medical kit up here. Oh. Because, so this is our backpacks. I'm going to show you in a separate video where I hang all of my 72-hour kits. And then also underneath it, I have a bin that has our stove and tarps and an axe, like for firewood. A kind of an extension of that where if I have time and space, I can throw that in the trunk of the car. But it's also an extended medical kit.
Right.
And so this really is still like prepper step 1. So your 72-hour kits really should be one of the first things you're doing. But your first aid and water storage are right up there, prepper step number 1. So like, let's just like real quick, we're not going to unpack it because we don't have time. But like, let's see. Well, first of all, I love this bag.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Lowe's.
And Lowe's. Little like unaffiliated plug. And then just look out, amazing. Like you got your sunscreen, like all kinds of awesome stuff.
Cough drops. I've even got some candy in here.
So the reason why I want to show you this is because to be thinking when you're packing your 72-hour kits, just think you're thinking 72 hours. Basic, like really quick, but you're going to extend that. You're going to extend that with a really nice medical kit that is in the salty prepper lifestyle. Ben can go and use anything in here should he need it. Right. And I was going to say that about your gloves, right? So you have those really nice gloves. Should you be gardening and you realize, oh stink, like I can't find my gloves, your 72-hour kit is where you can go get those gloves and replace them. Like it shouldn't be lost and forgotten.
And I just keep a tag on it with a date.
Love it.
So just, I've got
when it was last updated.
I've got Tylenol and Advil and all sorts of stuff.
Expires, I think.
Imodium, and it all expires at some point. I would still use it after that if I had to, but it's just.
But you should be using it. That's the great thing. It's like, oh, we need Imodium. Go get it out of the medical pack, and then we'll replace it. Like kind of always thinking, don't go spend all this money and then not use it. If they're hanging there, use the flashlight.
Kind of be committed to staying on top of it.
Use the pocket knife when the kid needs to go fishing. Use the stuff that's in there. Use that taser when you're worried that somebody's breaking in the house. It's right by the back door. All right. I think that's it. Do we have any other thoughts on that? If we do, we'll talk about it in the podcast.
Yeah, I think we're done.
We're going to tell some stories in the podcast because Benjamin Mason is good times. And I love him. We're going to drop links. We're going to give you all the information. Thanks for tuning in. Talk to you soon.